Hello and welcome to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friend. If you've been looking for a podcast geared towards your growth, self-awareness, navigating your brain's daily mind drama, and deep inner work to become your highest and best self, you are in the perfect place. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. Today, we are going to dive into how to protect your energy, manage your anxiety, and all of the things due to the coronavirus, which is a hot topic around the world right now, right? So I know that a lot of people are having anxiety over this. I don't know the status of where you live because I know that people live in several countries that listen to this podcast, Italy being one of them. I am praying for you every single day and listening to the advice of my Italian friends or friends living in Italy because they definitely wish that they had taken more precaution sooner. So I think that the U.S. is on par with that. They just announced about 30 minutes ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, that our restaurants and bars will be closing down, that they're really trying to reinforce that social distancing. And of course, social media has been nonstop, hot mess express. And I have even found myself going through an emotional roller coaster of highs and lows and, oh my God, freaking out and then being almost like scarily calm. I don't know if that's a word, but like almost being eerily calm, I guess you could say. So I wanted to address all of that because I know that people listening to this podcast may be like, oh my God, how do we even work on managing our mind and protecting our energy in a time that feels so uncertain and scary and all of the things. So we're going to talk about that today. First thing being first, I think it's important for the people that are still questioning, why are we running out of toilet paper? Why are people going crazy at the grocery store? Why are people acting a hot mess? There's two reasons. One reason is that, people are in fear. And when we are in fear, we're activating our fight or flight response. And when you activate your fight or flight response, your body is looking for the threat. Like your mind and body are communicating that there's a threat, that even if you can't see it, there is one. And now we need to figure out how we're going to handle it. And it's either we fight or we flee, right? That fight or flight. So we've talked about this before. And in those moments, sometimes your brain does not always work as best as it can. That logic and that reason and being able to really dial yourself back from that panic and fear is very hard when you're activating that stress hormone and you go into fight or flight. That's why I've taught you guys in the podcast, when emotions are high, intelligence is low. So it's the same thing as if you hear bad news and or someone's mean to you and you immediately feel that response like you're going to have to fight back and defend yourself. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. And so when you activate that stress response, you are not able to logically process things as you would whenever you have calmed and cooled yourself down. So what we're feeling is that there is worldwide panic, and we as a collective, we're all made up of energy. So we're absorbing the energy that we're feeling from other people, whether that's through the news, whether that is through social media, whether that is in talking with your own family, depending on where they're at with it. We are absorbing all of that. And specifically, if you are already empathetic and you're someone who is an empath, and that means that you absorb people's energy, you feel what they're feeling, you can really understand why they're going through maybe what they are going through, then you're even more susceptible. And I think in a previous episode, I talked about how we have to cut our energetic cords. So if you think of us having a bunch of cords that are connected to a bunch of different people, and they're panicked and they're, in frantic energy, well, then we're going to feel that more naturally, which means that our mind is going to have to be much stronger, and we're going to have to consciously make a decision to cut those energetic cords of what is not serving us. It doesn't serve us to be in that panicked, frightened energy, okay? Because when you're turning on your stress hormone, your body and your organs are going to work to fight off the threat. And when there's actually not a threat, you're weakening your immune system because your organs are working overtime to get back into homeostasis. And so stress is actually going to make you more susceptible to catching anything, whether that is coronavirus, the flu, a stomach bug, strep throat, whatever it is, because your organs aren't designed to be working in fight or flight on overtime, trying to get you back to normal and trying to get you back to homeostasis. So each time that you feel stress, you're activating those chemicals in your body. You're turning yourself on like a lit up Christmas tree that has no ability to turn off. And if you think of yourself like a lit up Christmas tree, a Christmas tree isn't meant to stay plugged in and turned on for weeks and weeks and months at a time. The bulbs will begin to blow out, right? And the tree will start to look a little sickly when the lights aren't functioning the way that they're supposed to. So if you compare this to your body, every time you have a stressful thought and you turn yourself on like a Christmas tree, your organs are like the lights and they're turning on to try and return your body to this normalcy. And then if it can't do that, right, you start to burn out and you make yourself susceptible to illness. So it's going to be very important for you to manage your mind during this time. So there's two reasons that people are freaking out and buying toilet paper and an overabundance of groceries. And one is that they're feeling the fear and they're not able to logically think through, like, what do I really, really need? What is a logical process right now? And they're just freaking out, right? So they're not really thinking with their logical mind. The second reason is that the people that are able to maybe think through or have relatives in China or Italy know that in the current space that we're in, those countries are on lockdown. Italy specifically is being fined if they are found to be walking outside of their home. If they're within 6 feet of people, they're writing them tickets and fines, and they're only allowed one person per household to go to the grocery or pharmacy, and that's the only thing open. So with that being said, because Italy didn't contain it fast enough, and now they're seeing, a lot more of the spreading, and their healthcare system is, very susceptible right now to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not shutting down, but they're having trouble because they're at overcapacity. And with the issue with coronavirus is, one, that it spreads very quickly, and two, that it attacks the respiratory system and your ability to breathe. So even though healthy people are able to get over this more quickly, it's the people that are already immunocompromised or are older in age, or just in general maybe are asthmatic and they can't breathe. This virus is attacking their respiratory system, and some people are needing help to breathe. So that means that they're in ICU, they're on a ventilator, they're being intubated to make sure that they have help with machines to help them breathe while they heal. And the issue with the healthcare systems is that most hospitals do not have enough ICU beds, do not have enough ventilators, do not have enough intubation, as well as being able to keep these patients that have contracted the virus separate and isolated, okay? So they are at capacity, and unfortunately, Italy is in a place where healthcare workers are having to decide who lives because they can get them on the equipment, or who dies because they can't, because they don't have enough. So that is why in the US specifically, we're doing this process of trying to flatten the curve, because we're trying to slow down the amount of time that this is spreading from one person to another, so that we don't get put in the same predicament as Italy or China, where there's not enough healthcare available and not enough beds, we don't want to have to choose who's more important that gets the machine. If there's only one machine, 5 people who need it, how do you decide this person, that's someone's grandma, that's someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's aunt, someone's uncle. And of course, if it's impacting our family, we want our family member to be the one chosen for that last ventilator, right? If they're not able to be healthy the way that we are and get over it the way that we are. And the issue is that we are spreaders of it, right? So if we contract it and we're healthy, we'll get over it and that's fine. The issue is that if we contract it, it's in our system for 4 days before you or I, as someone healthy, even gets symptoms. So I could contract it and not know for 4 days and go around my grandparents and go around immunocompromised children or adults, people that can't fight it, and then not know, because in those 4 days I felt fine, I felt healthy, right? But now they're impacted, and as soon as they're impacted, they're spreading it. And so it becomes like a wildfire that we can't really control. So the reason that people are buying in bulk right now, outside of the fear-based reason, is also to prepare for if we go on complete and total lockdown, in which case Italy has done, to keep people from spreading this. So people are making sure they have enough toilet paper, enough food, enough resources that if we get told in the US, hey, everything's shutting down, you're not allowed to leave your house for 30 days, because we're really trying to keep this from spreading, people are going to need supplies that are going to last them for 30 days. So that's another reason why they're doing this. I hope that clears everything up, because I try to be informed and I try to look at things very neutral. As a coach, you really have to, because people come to you with their own opinions and their own beliefs, and sometimes their opinions and their beliefs really truly aren't serving them to their greatest and highest good. And as a coach, it's very important that while we are empathetic a lot of times, and while we totally understand why someone feels the way that they're feeling or believes the thing that they're believing, and it might even match our belief, as a coach, we have to show up with this neutral ability to say, I hear you and I understand why you feel that way. However, let me challenge your thought process to see it in a different light. And I even did this with a post a few days ago, because I continued seeing people that were like, young people can't get this. It's only the older people. It's only the people that are immunocompromised. But the thing about that is that those are still our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our family, our grandparents, whoever it is, our aunts, our uncles, our cousins. Those people matter too. They're not just thrown to the wolves because they're older or immunocompromised, for one. And what came to my mind, because I truly am not worried about catching the virus for myself. I'm not worried about experiencing the symptoms for myself. I'm pretty healthy. I take supplements. I'm not worried about that. However, my fear that came in and completely swarmed over my body was thinking, oh my God, what if I were to contract it and not know? And for 4 days, while I'm a host for it, right? I'm a walking germ. I go hug on my grandparents, who I absolutely love and adore and can't imagine life without them. And then they get it and they are closer to 70, right? And their immune systems aren't as good. And then if our healthcare system starts to crash and there's not enough ventilators and intubation, should they need that, then I have now put them in a predicament where they cannot fight the illness, right? If I'm careless. And I challenged that thought on my Facebook, because I really wanted people to see it's not about us, and people aren't necessarily freaking out because they think they are going to catch it and suffer. They're freaking out because they know that they can catch it and then spread it for 4 days unknowingly to everybody that they're around, at a baby shower, at a public event, at a birthday party, at a wedding. And then other people that can't fight it will have to pay the repercussions for it. And those people are still people that we love. So the world right now is trying to take as much precaution as necessary. So this is not to freak anyone out. I think it's very important to continually ground yourself and check in with your energy, because what you're thinking subconsciously and consciously. We've talked about this in the podcast. I hope that this podcast helps you feel a little bit more prepared with your mindset around this whole thing, and just to take a deep breath and ground yourself, okay? If you are able to go outside and there's some sunshine, hopefully where you're at, there's not a lot where I'm at. It's been kind of gloomy and rainy and cold. So I think sunshine will help us feel a lot better if we can just get some sun soon. But put your feet in the grass and connect with Mother Earth and the energy. I know that sounds really woo-woo and crazy, but it's not. Like, you are made up of energy. This is very important for you to understand. You are an energetic being, okay? Every thought that you consciously think, every thought that you subconsciously think, sends out an energetic vibration. You are either sending out energetic vibrations in fear of everything you don't want to happen, in which case the universe does not hear what you want versus what you don't want. It just responds to your vibration. So if you are energetically in a vibration of fear and lack and woe is me, and we're all going to catch it, and we're all going to die, and my family's going to die, and we're never going to have enough, and we're not able to work, and we're never going to have money, the universe is responding to that. And you're going to attract everything you don't want, because that is where your mind is at. Because that's where your mind is at, that's where your energy is at. And it's a very low vibration. We know from scientific studies, okay, of the brain, through like energy and all of that, that when we are in stress, fear, anxiety, depression, lack, anger, all of that, those are very, very, very low energetic vibrations. If you had a picture of yourself, let's say standing against a wall, okay, and you had feelings of depression, anxiety, fear, lack, all of that, you would have maybe about a 2-inch radius or circumference, or I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now, but you would have just about 2 inches of light beaming from your body. Okay, think of 2 inches of light coming off of your body with fear, lack, depression, anxiety, anger, all of the negative emotions. It's a very low energetic vibration. But when you are in gratitude and, and you feel happiness, you feel joy, you feel appreciation, you feel excitement, gratitude being the number one thing, your energetic field isn't 2 inches. It's like, what did they say? I think the statistic, it's like 9 feet of a circumference around your body. Like, it extends 9 feet every direction around you. I'm pretty sure that's the statistic scientifically of what they found. So you attract more of what you're wanting when you're in a good mental headspace. And the great thing to understand is that you're in control of your mental headspace. So right now I am running a free group called Shift through Facebook, which you are more than welcome to be in. It's still open. I did a 3-day training in there. I did 2 Zoom calls in there, answering any questions that the ladies had in there. It's open to men and women, but mostly women got in there. I think we have close to 100 people in that group right now. And I'm going to be going live on Tuesday as well to address a lot of this that I'm talking about in the podcast and to help people overcome their mind drama, because it's very important that if you're a leader, or you're just someone that has a lot of personal development experience, that you understand that what you're thinking matters and the energy that you're putting out in the world matters, okay? We do not want to stay in this low energetic vibration of lack and woe is me. And I understand it's very easy to go there. Trust me, just a few days ago, I was there. Like, the first thing that triggered me was thinking about if my grandparents got it and weren't able to fight it. And that thought was so profound and so very real in my mind. And I was losing it. I was mad at everybody that was still going out in public. I was mad at everybody that still didn't understand per social media and were making jokes about it and were talking about the ridiculousness of buying toilet paper. I was just like, oh my God, they truly don't get it. And like, if they contract it, they are now a host. And if they're going and breathing and sneezing and coughing in Kroger, without even knowing that they got it, because those first 4 days, it's silent. You're contagious, but it's silent. So I'm thinking, they're probably thinking, okay, they're sneezing and they're thinking they don't even have the virus. And then my grandparents go and they pick up something that has droplets of that sneeze on it, and now they contract it and they get it, and and then they're spreading it. So it was just like my brain took off with that, and I was not in a good place. I was not in a good place, you guys. Even as a coach, even as someone that has a lot of experience managing my mind and flipping my thought process, I was not in a good space thinking about what if something happens to my grandparents. And then I reached out to them, and they were like, relax, relax. And basically they were like, control your mind. Like, you are protected by God, so if you're not a super religious person or whatever, you can even think spiritually, and you are protected and guided by the universe. Everything is always happening for your highest and greatest good. Even the bad things that happen are happening for your highest and greatest good. So find gratitude in what you have and appreciate what you have. And you have to really like shift yourself. And so my grandparents being able to remind me of that helped bring me down, because they weren't in panic, right? They were just not buying into the panic, which it partly was a little bit annoying, because I'm like, please take this seriously. My papa was like fake coughing and everything. And I'm like, that is just not even right. Like, you are so wrong for that. But they're like, just relax. So with them being able to relax, I was able to be like, you know what? I am losing myself in this a little bit. And then came part 2, right? Where I had like 2 days of pure calm. And like I said, almost like an eerily calm of just like, it is what it is, whatever happens, happens. But then everything began to shut down, including not being able to work as an occupational therapist. They haven't completely called that off for me and what I do with birth to 3 population. However, a lot of the parents are taking precaution and do not want therapists, coming into their home. And so the way that works for us is if we show up, we get paid. If we don't show up, there is no pay. There's no sick leave. There's no 401k in what I do. There's none of that, right? So then panic set in of like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to work. I'm not going to have any money coming in, and the bills are still going to be coming in. How am I going to survive? And so that was like the part 2 of panic, of just like pure and utter panic, until I was able to, again, take a deep breath and ground and realize that really in the world, we're all in this together. Teachers, now restaurant workers, business owners, like all of us are in this boat together. So it's ego that really steps in and says, me, 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 me. This is all about me, 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 and my bills and my stress and my anxiety and my, contracting the illness, or my getting out into public because that's what would make me happy right now, or, being able to continue my life as normal. Me, 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 I. That's ego. And we talked about ego last episode, and it can be very challenging. So I took a step back and just took a deep breath and was like, I cannot control what is happening around me right now, but I can control what is happening within me. I can control washing my hands. I can control being safe if I have to go out in public. I can control keeping my body in the home, knowing that that's the best decision. Okay? I can't control the families that don't want me to come see their kids. I cannot control, whether or not they contract the virus. I can't control any of that. So really like stepping back and just being like, what am I able to control? I can control my thoughts. I'm in charge of that. I'm in charge of if I freak out, or I'm in charge of if I'm calm. Okay? It might not feel that way, you guys, but you are. You're in control of your thoughts. Your thoughts that you have in your mind are what contribute to what you're feeling. So if you're feeling panic, anxiety, depression, all of that, you have to really ask yourself what you're thinking. And I've had to do that with myself in just the last few days. The other day, I slept like all day. And I think it was a state of depression, to be completely honest, because my mind was having thoughts about, what am I going to do about my bills? What am I going to do about work? What is the world going to look like after this? Blah, 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 blah. And it just stresses you out, right? And when you're doing that, again, you are weakening your immune system because your organs are in fight or flight. It's fighting a threat that isn't even happening at the moment other than your mind. Does that make sense? You're not even fighting the virus in that moment. You're fighting your mind. And so now your organs are working overtime and they're getting tired, and that's what makes them susceptible to illness. So if you want to have a healthy immune system, you have to start eliminating the stress. So here is what I would suggest that you do. Okay, each time you start to feel stress and anxiety, first of all, again, scientific study shows that when you feel a negative emotion, that chemical releases in your mind for up to 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes, okay? For 2 minutes, it is absolutely justified that you are feeling anger, sadness, disappointment, fear, lack, anxiety, whatever, for those 2 minutes, okay? Because those chemicals are being released throughout your body. But after 2 minutes, that chemical is gone. So if you continue to feel sadness, anger, all of that, you are now choosing it because you're hardwiring your feeling with the thoughts that you're having. And when you hardwire it, it becomes the norm for you. And you become addicted to that way of thinking, okay? And that way of thinking is not serving you or I, okay? You or I, you or me, whatever. I cannot think right. Do not make fun of me, okay? So we have to be conscious thinkers when 98% of our body is operating through a subconscious program, or 95%. 95% of your mind and body is operating from your subconscious. Only 5% of your mind is able to be conscious. So with that being said, yes, you're going to feel negative emotion much more easily than turning it around and doing the mindset work of feeling positive emotion. Why? Because 95% of your mind and body is operating through an autopilot program. So if you've been thinking of all the things you're afraid of, all of the things that you don't want to happen, all of your energy is going to negative emotion. 95% of you is being led by that negative emotion, and you're going to have 95% of you calling in things energetically that you don't even want. You have only 5% of your mind working for you right now. So when you're like, oh, but it's so hard to feel positive whenever I'm not going to be able to work for God knows how long. Oh, it's going to be so hard to feel positive and grateful whenever, I'm not allowed to go to work and I'm not allowed to make money and the bills are still coming in. Oh God, it's not going to feel good to me right now, and I'm not going to feel gratitude if people keep going out and, ignoring the social distancing, or, oh, it's not going to feel good to me to be in my house for this long, for 30 days. Like, I'm not going to survive. If that's where your mind is at, that's the energy that you're putting out, you're going to attract more of what you do not want. The work that we have to do as a collective, as a team, as a country, as a united world, is focus on what we do want to happen. What do you want to happen? Okay. One, you probably want to be able to go back to work eventually, right? You want to be able to make money. You want to be able to grocery shop as normal. You want to be able to see your kids be educated by their teachers. You want to be able to go into public places with your kids and not have to stress about all of what's happening right now, right? Focus on the things that you're wanting to happen. Put your energy there. If you feel like you can't, you need to ground. Come back into your body. Give yourself self-care. Is your body asking for a nap? Is your body asking for some hot tea? Is your body asking to, soak in the hot tub or take a long shower? What are you needing? Give that to yourself. Honor yourself. Bring your mind and body back into connection with one another and start practicing what you can be grateful for. So many people complain that they never have time to do anything, that they don't get to spend enough time with their kids. Honestly, as a collective, we've probably manifested this, because the thing that I hear the most is I don't have time, right? That's an excuse I hear all the time. I don't have time and I want to spend more time with my kids and I never get to spend more time with my kids. And now we've manifested it. You don't get to choose how the manifestation happens, but we've manifested it. Now it's here. So are you feeling gratitude for it? Or are you focused on everything that went wrong along with it? Again, your energy said, I want more time. I want to spend more time with my kids. Well, now it's been granted. So feel grateful for being able to manifest that part. You might not like all the other parts about not being able to work, not being able to go out and enjoy, at a trampoline park, but you did get what you asked for energetically for a lot of people. Okay, so now is the time to feel gratitude for being able to spend time with your kids and really snuggle them and love on them and engage them in activities, right? You get to have time to clean the house. You get to have time to work on your side hustle. You get to have time to write blog entries. You get to have time to cook dinner at home, or, put your kids down for a bedtime routine if maybe you weren't able to do that before. Like, there are positives in this and we have to find them. We have to find the positive aspects of this. We have to feel gratitude. I honestly feel like when all of this is said and done, and when all of this is over, we are going to feel gratitude at a whole new level. And part of manifesting the things that we really truly want in our life, anything, and it could be anything that you want to manifest, it starts with feeling gratitude. A lot of times people will rehearse gratitude in their minds, like, I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful I can pay my bills. I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head. But they don't actually connect it with the feeling, like the energetic feeling of pure gratitude. And I honestly think that through this hardship, we are going to actually, for the first time in a long time, connect the energetic feeling of gratitude with the thoughts of gratitude. For instance, right now it's inconvenient because most stores are sold out of toilet paper. The next time you go in Kroger and there's toilet paper, you're going to feel gratitude in your body putting that into a cart. You're going to feel gratitude going to the grocery and seeing everything stocked as normal. You're going to feel gratitude when we can return to normalcy and you don't have to stand in line at a Costco or grocery store for an hour just to check out. You're going to feel gratitude when you can go back to work, maybe a job that you have hated. You're going to feel gratitude when you receive that paycheck. You're going to feel gratitude when you're able to pay your bills without worry. So if there's something great that's going to come from this, it's going to be actually feeling gratitude along with the thoughts of gratitude, because a lot of people can think of things that they're grateful for, but they have a hard time really connecting it with feeling. And feeling is what matters, because that's your energetic vibration. What you're feeling is your energetic vibration and blueprint that you're sending out to the world. And so you can say, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my friends, I'm grateful for the roof over my head, I'm grateful for food. But if you don't really feel that in your body because you've been on autopilot and it's always been handed to you and it's always been easy, it's very hard to connect sometimes to that energetic vibration. After this hardship, it should come a lot easier to feel gratitude. Like, I know if I walk into a store and find toilet paper, I'm going to feel so very grateful for toilet paper. Something that was a necessity but taken for granted for sure in my household. I mean, of course we appreciate our toilet paper, but not to the extent of what we will feel now when we finally get it back in stock and can buy it as normal, right? Same thing with going out to a restaurant. Like, we loved going out to restaurants. Now they've shut everything down. By the time that this is over, we are going to so appreciate, going out and enjoying a meal together at a restaurant. So we're going to feel it energetically along with having the thought. And that is where positive manifestation happens. That's the secret sauce. Another thing that I think is happening right now, and this excites me, right? I want to encourage you to really think about this, but for a lot of people, they are spazzing and freaking out about being stuck at home for however long, let's just say 30 days, because they don't know how to sit with themselves. So buffering is going to be huge right now. I'm sure that a lot of people are buffering. You are probably listening to this and thinking, oh my God, I've been buffering with social media. I've been on it for 8 hours and it makes me feel energetically drained. I've watched, 3 things on Netflix already, or like 8 episodes of something on Netflix already, or I finished a series on, Hulu or whatever. Okay. And you're probably finding that, or what you will find is that people begin to go crazy, okay? Because they can't be in their house any longer. They can't. Why is that? Because we are on autopilot, right? That's who we are. That's who we've become, is someone on autopilot. And when you are no longer allowed to do the things that you once used to distract, you have to sit with yourself. Okay, it's exactly what I teach in this podcast. Sit with yourself. Stop buffering. Most people can't even do it 2 minutes. I challenged people to do it in my shift program, and most people came back and said I couldn't even sit with myself for 2 minutes because my subconscious thoughts were so heavy and so real that it was painful for 2 minutes. So now we've created this, don't want to say created, but now we're in this position where we are going to be alone with ourselves and alone with our thoughts. And we're going to feel a lot more anxiety and a lot more depression because 1, we're taking on the collective energy of the world. But 2, when you're left with your own mind, most people can't really handle that because they're not using mindset tools. They don't even know of mindset tools. If you've listened to this podcast of mine, you have tools. Go back and listen to some episodes, binge. Go listen to buffering, okay? We should be able to sit with ourselves and enjoy our own company without being distracted. Most people don't and can't because they don't like what they're thinking and they don't know how to manage it. That is the benefit of knowing personal development. Being able to manage your mind is everything. Being able to switch your mindset when things have hit the fan is everything. And everybody in the world is getting a dose of what it would be like to sit with themselves. Do you like your own company? What thoughts are you having? Okay. In my shift group, I'm encouraging the women to brain dump everything that they're thinking so that I can help them and coach them for free through what they're going through and shift their mind from negative state of energy with a 2-inch circumference around their body, energetically attracting everything they don't want, to a 9-foot, radius and circumference where they can attract everything that they do want because their mind is in the right place. So if you're not in shift, it's free on Facebook. I will put the link in the show notes. Request to be in there. I'm going to be coaching live. I'm going to, put value in just donating my time, especially during this time, for free to help people, because as a collective, we really do need to be able to, focus on where our thoughts are at, where our energy is at, and start bringing more positivity and shifting our minds and being able to sit with ourselves and enjoy our own company rather than feeling like we're going to pull our hair out or run through a wall. And I understand if you have been feeling those negative emotions along with having to be at home with yourself, right, with not a lot to do, because what happens when you sit alone with yourself is your subconscious starts talking to you about every bullshit thing that makes you feel unworthy, less than, sad, depressed, full of anxiety, whatever. But in those moments, it's the most powerful, most telling thing as to what needs work. I'm going to repeat that. Any negative subconscious thought that comes up when you are spending time alone with yourself without distraction is highlighting an area that needs some work. That could be forgiveness work, that could be mindset work, that could be energetic shifting work, that could be just acknowledging and healing it kind of work. You're being shown everything that your system wants to work on in order for you to be a clean and clear, healthy, energetic, happy, full of gratitude vessel. And what we do most of the time is we get on autopilot, we follow our habits, our routines, we go to work, we pay our bills, we come home, we cook dinner for the kids, we get them down for bed, we go all over again the next day doing the same things, okay? And it seems like it's not really a big deal. However, nothing really changes in that way because you're operating from the 95% of you that's doing subconscious habitual routines. Change happens from your 5% conscious routines. New habits, new thoughts, new emotions, new feelings, new actions, new results, right? That's where we have to focus. So you guys, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I hope that this episode helps you guys. Please just make smart decisions. Do not let this completely overtake you, okay? Do not let the fear completely rule what you're doing and thinking and believing and feeling, because unfortunately, if that's where your mind is at, we will attract more of that. Okay, you don't want to energetically be putting out into the universe the very things that you don't want. So you're going to have to shift your mind to what you do want to happen and feeling really good about it. We're all in the same boat. There's so many of us that are losing money. There's so many of us that are not able to work, right? There's so many of us that are having moments of, oh my God, fear, you know? But we also have the ability to make this really help us or allow us to connect, okay? This can really help us connect and strengthen our bonds and our relationships, and we really need to find gratitude for what we do have. If you have shelter, if you have food, if you have access to resources, if you have technology, if you're able to FaceTime your loved ones, if you're able to get on Facebook and still feel socially connected, if you're able to work from home, if you're able to run a side hustle, you know, if you're able to do any of that, there's so much to find gratitude for, so much we can find gratitude for. We have to keep pulling ourselves in that direction, okay? I love you all so much. I will talk to you all next week. We'll see where everything is at, right? And if you need me, reach out. Join Shift. It's free. Again, it's going to be linked in the show notes. Click the link. You'll have to request an invite. I will accept it. Get in there with us. We're going to be doing some coaching, okay? Manage your mind. If you can't do anything else, manage your mind. And you have plenty of time, more than likely, with the way things are going in the world. You have plenty of time. You just have to decide, and you just have to make the decision that you're going to show up for yourself, okay? And it's for free. I'm donating my time for free, okay? Was there anything else that I wanted to do? Oh, the last announcement is that I am going to be switching platforms for my email list and my digital courses. So as you guys know, I have digital courses that I sell with my content, and I have an email list where I occasionally send out an email. The current platform that I'm using, I'm not really loving it, to be completely honest, and a friend introduced me to a new platform, so I'm going to be switching over to that brand new platform. So if you've previously bought my digital course Rewired, you will regain access to that once everything is switched over. If you need any of the videos before then, just reach out to me if you've already purchased it. And if you're on my email list, just know that when I switch to this new platform, I'm pretty sure you'll have to re-sign up for my email list. And I'll be sure to post that on Instagram and Facebook, just so people can, resubscribe to the new emailing platform. Once that's all up and running, it's probably going to take me a few weeks. I'm going to start recording new content for digital courses to help you manage your mindset, manage your energy, really understand. I'm going to have my workbooks and worksheets uploaded to that. So when you purchase a digital course, just know that you get access to it for a lifetime. And part of the reason I'm switching to this new platform is because I can organize everything much more easily than in this previous platform that I've been using. It just jumbles everything together, and I don't like that. I like organized kind of bullet points of here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. And for some reason in this other platform, it just umbrellas everything all together. So this new platform that I'm switching over to will help me organize, like, okay, we're talking about mindset, but then there's maybe like 4 different videos on mindset that I want to teach you guys. It's going to help me organize everything a lot better. And when you purchase the digital courses, you have access to them for life. So you can always go back and revisit that information and know that, you have lifetime access to look at it as many times as you want. I really have found that for the courses I've purchased from my coaches that have done digital courses, I freaking love that. I love knowing that in a moment like this, when you have a lot of free time on your hands, or when you just, you feel like you could use a pick-me-up or someone's positive, outlook on life of how to change what you're going through, it really just helps to be able to be like, all I have to do is log in, put in my password, and I can watch any of my coach's videos as many times as I want, do the worksheets however many times that I want. I just really, really love that. So I want to expand my digital course collection of what I teach my clients and be able to offer that to you guys. So with that being said, you'll see more of me, more of my stuff being rolled out in a digital course. I plan to do a digital version of Inner Mastery. I will still offer it live for people who, want to get in and have the one-on-one attention in Inner Mastery, a group attention in Inner Mastery. But I also will offer it in a digital course, I think, as well, for people who just want to be able to watch it whenever they want to and access the information whenever they want to and revisit it as many times as they want to. So I think digital courses are going to be awesome in addition to the live courses that I do. So that is all for today. I hope you all have an amazing week. Try to make the most of it. Find gratitude, ground yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. Reach out if you need help. I'm available, and I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.